You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cricket Podcast, where we're going to be reviewing yesterday's one-day international between England and India. It's going to be a micro podcast for a micro match, as India obliterated England. What did we learn? Not an awful lot. It was quite good fun though, and Jasprit Bumrah was very good. I'm Jack Hope. I'm joined by Max Rowe Brown. We're wearing primary colour t-shirts if you're one of the audio listeners, but not on YouTube. But green isn't actually a primary colour,
it's a secondary colour. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Nice try.
Max is in green.
Yeah.
Bird as they say in Spain. Max, we kick off the show with messages for listeners. You've got 20 seconds to do that.
Right. Twitter and Instagram at the Cricket Pod. Go over there and talk to us. Send us some messages. That's always nice. And patreon.com/the Cricket Pod, where you can support us directly. We need to do another show, don't we? We need to do a Patreon show soon. Exclusive.
We definitely do. We'll get to that. So it doesn't help that England play every other day for like the next 50 days.
It's literally ridiculous.
What are they doing? Just stop playing cricket.
And there are games, there are back-to-back games that no one cares about. Stop it.
Yeah, mad. Right, Max, the cricket yesterday, it was over pretty quickly. Why was that?
Well, you know what they say, if you're going to fail fast, right? What happened is Bumrah and Shami were really good and obliterated England's top order, and England limped to 110. And in response, decided that they would just feed Rohit Sharma's best shot. And it was all over very, very quickly with a 10-wicket win for India and it was a 10 out of 10 performance for them, wasn't it? Well, 10 out of 10 day for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't get much bit better than a 10-wicket victory with 31.2 overs just there, does it? They were talking about like how bad it was. I think it's like England's worst defeat since 2003. They had a couple of games in Sri Lanka and Australia that went pear-shaped. I think it might have been England's worst home defeat of all time. Batting first here, 'cause it's difficult to compare, isn't it? Like, batting second performances.
Best bowling figures against England in a one day since 2003 as well.
Yeah, it was. Bumrah was the master, wasn't he? We should probably talk about him first. It basically was his game, wasn't it? Why was he so good? I mean, like the first spell, just like if you want some more numbers, just to put this into context, he bowled 5 overs. England scored 3 off the bat, and one of them was the dropped fifer. Like it would have been the best opening spell in Test match cricket. Like let alone an ODI. I mean, if it had been a Test match, the wides wouldn't have even counted. He'd had 4 for 3. or something like that. It was pretty good, wasn't it?
It was incredible. The amount of purchase he got off the pitch in terms of lift, as Jack chokes himself on some tea there. He was extracting bounce. He was bowling at pace. He was swinging it. It was moving off the seam. It was a bit of everything. It was an unbelievable opening spell. And contrasted with England's opening bowlers, who did absolutely nothing with the new ball. It was quite a stark contrast.
I think that's a little bit critical of England's opening bowlers. I think Darwan in particular really struggled. Just didn't hit the ball to the slips, which was England's problem, or the wicket keeper, which was England's problem. But I mean, Shami had a pretty good day out as well. I've got the figures up here: 3 for 31 off 7. You're taking that in an ODI, aren't you?
Yeah, a bit expensive.
And Practice Krishna took a wicket as well, return catch. But it really was the Bumrah show. I think to some extent, and Butler sort of said this afterwards. What did he say? Butler said England came 3rd in a 2-horse race, but that there wasn't an awful lot they could kind of do against Jasprit Bumrah bowling like he was. And watch it, I was doing commentary for Guerrilla Cricket at the time. I have to say, I kind of agree. I think they were up against a force of nature who had an amazing day out and was as he is right up there as one of the best bowlers in all formats, if not the best bowler across all formats.
Yeah.
And when he gets it right, it doesn't really matter who you are. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. And in this case, England, who you are is the England batting lineup, which is in ODI cricket, I think probably comfortably the best in the world. I mean, they score a run and over quicker than everyone else. That suggests they're a bit better than everyone else. And he's blown them away. There's 3 ducks in there's 4 ducks in the top 6. England didn't get the duck record. The duck record was one thing that they weren't.
The one thing that eluded them.
Yeah, the one thing that eluded them on this occasion.
What is the duck record?
It's 5. 5 would have been to tie it. They were in a good place. I mean, the manner of the dismissals as well. I mean, Roy, he drags that one on. He looked like he was never going to hit the ball, and then when he did,
he's having one of those days. Days,
it hit his thumb.
You can usually tell within about 3 or 4 balls as well what sort of day it's going to be for Jason.
Yeah. Then he gets Root with the. It was a little bit of a fishy shot, but it is the ball to bowl to Root early. That's how you get him in trouble, is extra bounce outside off stump, because he will try and guide that ball to third man, and if you can get it to carry through, you're in trouble. Ben Stokes got a jaffer. Like, that's a proper delivery.
He's done well to get anything on that first time.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing delivery from around the wicket. Bairstow gets an excellent ball in the channel, a little bit of extra bounce. If you can get Johnny Bairstow out at the moment, then you're doing something. You're doing something right. And Liam Livingstone, he makes himself look a bit stupid by going right across to try and flick the ball into the leg side in like some, I guess trying to counter attack. And at the time, people were like, "Oh, that's a ridiculous dismissal." And then you found out that the ball swung 3 degrees, which is like 45 centimeters or something like that. It's the most Bumrah's ever swung a ball. It
wasn't like a conventional swing either. It happened very late.
Yeah, it was amazing. Mitigation for England. Obviously, I really doubt they're going to dwell on what happened today. I think they will just be like, well bowled Bumrah. Some mitigation for England. It was quite a lively pitch. Bumrah obviously bowled well. That's further mitigation. Do you think that maybe the Kookaburra ball's a bit more lively this year than it has been, or than we traditionally think? Like, to me, had they had this ball at Edgbaston last week, there's no chance England win that match. Like, there's absolutely they don't get anywhere near.
Because Boovie in the T20s, Boovie was swinging it for longer.
They might just be good.
Yeah, but I mean, Boovie's one of the best exponents of swing of the white ball there is in the game. But even he doesn't normally keep it swinging for 6, 7, 8 overs, and it was still going, wasn't it, in those T20 games for longer than normal? So maybe there is something in that. I don't know. I mean, obviously we've seen the opposite with the Duke's ball, so perhaps they've swapped manufacturers.
We know that Kookaburra juiced up their red ball a little bit, didn't they? Everyone complained about maybe the 2014 Ashes being too boring. Teams just batting forever, and so it is now statistically harder to bat in conditions where they're using the new Kookaburra versus the old Kookaburra. I don't know if that translates to white ball cricket. It was just something I observed. It may, to be fair, just have been amazing bowling from Bumrah.
Well, it definitely was amazing bowling, and it was also one of those things where everything, not only was Bumrah bowling ridiculously well, but everything sort of went right as well, didn't it? In terms of taking the edges, Pants catching. I mean, the catch off Stokes was a phenomenal catch, one-handed. And then there was the was it the Bairstow one as well? It was the other diving one in front of first slip, which on another day he puts that down and you're chastising him for diving in front of the first slip or not going with 2 hands. But as it was, everything stuck for Pant. He took a couple of amazing catches. They got the edge every time. It was one of those days where everything comes together for you, and it's as an India fan, you are happy, aren't you? You're enjoying that.
Yeah. The only thing I'd say is I was a bit annoyed with England for being so bad. I was quite looking forward to this. I mean, the T20 series was pointless. Like, I don't, they were basically pre-season friendlies. Test match was great. I thought this ODI series would be quite good. We're now, what are we, 13, 14, 15 months, something like that, from the next ODI World Cup. This is normally when you see teams starting to put out their front 11s, working out who's in, who's out, who's a backup, and so on. And I thought we
played our top batting lineup.
It was,
I'm not sure it's going to be our bowling lineup.
Well, I don't think it will, but I mean that is the first time that England batting lineup's played together since the World Cup final, isn't it? So we were getting into that space. India and England probably the two best ODI teams in the world at the moment. England a better batting side, India a better bowling side. It had the potential to be and the other two matches I think will as well have the potential to produce some really really good cricket. So I was a bit annoyed, to be honest with you, Max, at England completely.
Do you think they should have played an exhibition game of the 100 afterwards?
They could have done, couldn't they? Yeah, I'd be really annoyed if I paid to be there.
Yeah,
and got what was it? It was like 30 overs of cricket or something like that, 40 overs of cricket. I was going to say the thing, in a sense, we've not really learned anything here, have we? Like England aren't bad at batting because Jasprit Bumrah's good at bowling. That's not a new learning, but Bumrah being good at bowling isn't something that we've learned really either. No. The thing that we would have learned from this cricket, I think, is whether some of these England reserve bowlers could stand up, and maybe whether there's a place in the India team for somebody like Shreyas Iyer. I don't know, Shikhar Dhawan might even be playing for his place to some extent. I mean, he's known a bit as a kind of an ICC tournament specialist, isn't he? But there are other good Indian white ball players out there. Kohli had a groin strain, so he was out. That gave another opportunity to somebody. I don't know if we've seen loads of Yuzi Chahal in ODIs. Prasidh Krishna against a good batting tight lineup. That would have been maybe something interesting to learn. And because England was so bad, all of the actual good things we didn't get to see. So, or the interesting things, we did see a good thing.
But hey, any final more opportunities? So
we do.
Hopefully that'll all come good, and we'll get to see something. I think. I think you were going to say any last comments. Great news for India. I mean, it's got to be, even in a game like this, Hardik Pandya bowling again in one-day internationals this time after bowling in the IPL and bowling in the T20s. I mean, that's a real.
When is Hardik Pandya bowling again? Not going to be, when is that just going to be? Not
Hardik
news.
Pandya's fit now. It's just a thing. Don't know. I'm going to keep bringing it up.
Every time he bowls an over, it's going to be like,
Hardik Pandya's bowling again.
Round up. Hardik Pandya's going to bowl an over. India very good. 10 out of 10 from India. Probably a 1 out of 10 performance from England.
I think so.
Being honest, generous one.
One goes to Joss Butler.
Looking forward to the next matches. Hopefully, we get a little bit more of what I just talked about. Any final words?
No final words.
Cool. Right. In that case, head over to patreon.com/the cricket pod. It's in the show notes. Get involved there from just $4 a month. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the cricket pod. We'll be back on Friday with a recap of the next thing. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Cricket Podcast.